Welcome to the Expera Specialty Solutions Contractor Restricted Access and Man Lift Training. This training is an annual requirement for all contractors working in the primary manufacturing and woodyard area. Restricted areas: recovery boilers, digesters, woodyard. Purpose of training: understanding hazards and emergency warning signs in the recovery boiler, digesters, and woodyard. This applies to all personnel entering or working within the recovery boiler, digesters, and woodyard at Expera Kaukauna facility. All contractors or vendors entering the recovery boiler, digesters, or woodyard area must be trained, unless escorted by a trained employee. Discussions in a recovery area tour are required to work in the recovery boiler, digesters, and woodyard areas. Recovery boiler restricted access. The recovery area is located near the digester and pulp and recovery maintenance areas. The recovery area extends from the ground floor to the roof of the recovery boiler building. All employees and contractors are required to sign in when entering the recovery boiler area and sign out in the same location when leaving the area. You must also notify the operator of the job planned and location of work and when leaving the area. Call 8353. There are two sign-in locations, between the Millwright Maintenance Shop entrance and the recovery courtyard, and in the safe egress stairway on the 4th floor just outside of the recovery boiler control room. Recovery boiler hazards include 600-pound steam lines, asbestos-containing insulation, corrosive and hot liquids, the smelt spout area, salt cake, combustible gases. Moving mechanical part hazards. Before working on any moving mechanical parts, you must be acquainted with the Thilmany policy regarding moving mechanical parts, zero energy state, lockout tagout, and confined space entry procedures must be followed. Non-condensable gas hazards including hydrogen sulfide. In low concentrations, headache, nausea, affected breathing, and affected ability to smell. In high concentrations, unconsciousness and death. Audible and red light alarms. Red lights and warning alarms will sound when dangerous concentrations of non-condensable and combustible gases are approached. Vacate to a place of safety immediately until the warning is extinguished. The MSDS, SDS are located on the company intranet. Your Thilmany job coordinator can print you a copy. Danger of boiler explosion. If water comes in contact with molten smelt, there is a very real potential for explosion. Recovery boiler operators are responsible for controlling boiler upsets. The logging procedures are needed to account for all personnel in the case of an emergency. If the operator personnel determine there is a boiler emergency, they will implement the emergency shutdown procedure. The alarm will sound and a strobe light will activate. All non-control room personnel must evacuate according to the Thilmany evacuation plan. Evacuation routes. The recovery boiler shares a common evacuation stairway, safe egress stairway, that extends from the 2nd floor to the roof. The pulp mill team center is the destination in the event that the ESP alarms sound. It is located on the 4th floor. This means that anyone on the 2nd and 3rd floor must go up to reach the team center. Individuals on the 1st floor should leave through the nearest exit and make your way through the mill to the pulp mill team center. Do not go up from the 1st floor. If you cannot get out of the pulp mill team center, exit the closest exit on bottom floor. Call security on the mill phone at 8302. Give them your name and location. Remind them to contact the Pulp and Utilities Process Manager. Do not leave the plant until you are accounted for and released by the Primary Process Manager. Things to remember. There are signs posted throughout the recovery area directing to the safe egress stairway. Orient yourself when you enter the area. Entrance to the stairway may be on the 2nd level or around the corner. Some floors consist of 2 levels. The hazard is real, but the need for the ESP is rare. Do not board the elevator during an emergency. Digester restricted access. Restrictive access signs are posted at all digester building entrances. All persons must seek approval of the digester cook before entering the digester area and similarly notify the cook when leaving the area. The cook can be reached at extension 8806 or by entering the digester control room through the washer floor. Phones are located at all entrances except through the courtyard by the Nodders. When alarm sounds, a digester blow is initiated. When the red light is on, a digester blow is in progress. Stay clear of all blow valves when alarm is sounded. Personnel from the bottom to the 5th floor must use caution around blow line flanges when the digester blow valve alarm sounds. Audible alarms, red lights, and red warning signs are located in the digester area to warn individuals that the digesters are blowing or when the digester capping valve is released. Due to the excessive pressure and potential accidental rupture of a gasket and release of hot black liquor and stock when a digester blow is initiated, personnel must stay clear of the area. Alarms will sound from the basement floor to the 5th floor to warn that a digester blow is being initiated. When the red light is on, a digester blow is in progress. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. When a blow valve alarm is activated, personnel must use caution around blow line flanges. Locate the blow valve, back away, and stay clear of the blow valve when the alarm is sounded. Personnel from the 1st to the 5th floor must back away 6 feet from the valve and blow line flanges. Be familiar with the location of all alarms. Alarms for blow valves on digesters are located on number 1 and 4 digesters on the 1st floor and across from number 3 digester by hoist area on the 1st floor. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors by number 4 digester, next to the staircase. After the digester blow is complete, a capping valve opens to release steam from the digesters, lasting about 10 seconds. An alarm will sound with red warning lights when it occurs on the 6th and 7th floor of the digester. Personnel on the 5th, 6th, and 7th floor must stay 6 feet away from the capping valve area when the digester capping valve opens, red light is on, and alarm sounds. Be familiar with the location of the 4 capping valves, one for each digester located on the 5th floor. Areas above the capping valve on the 7th floor and areas below the 6th floor can be hazardous. Anyone using the digester elevator must be properly trained and fitted to use the air tank in case there is an H2S or NCG leak in the digester area. Digester hazards. White liquor, black liquor knots, and black liquor mixed with turpentine are hot and or corrosive chemicals. On contact with skin or eyes, the chemicals can cause severe thermal and or chemical burns. Personnel should be wearing the appropriate PPE for the task to prevent injuries from occurring. Medical treatment including thoroughly washing or flushing affected areas for 15 minutes in eye or shower stations, then seek medical attention. Additional digester hazards include 57-pound and 182-pound steam lines, blow lines and hot stocking gases, blow steam and non-condensable gases from the digester cap, and hot stock and liquor. If alarms are activated, non-operational personnel evacuate affected area. Some areas, procedures require employees to monitor for turpentine levels. At 5% LEL or above, employees should exit the area. Thermal hazard for filtrate pump aisle. Prior to entering the area, personnel must notify the digester operator at 8806. This ensures chemical hot stock dumping does not occur during entry. Turpentine safety PSM awareness training. Wood naturally contains turpentine and other volatile chemicals. During the cooking process, these chemicals are released as gases. The purpose of the turpentine system is to safely condense these gases and store them for shipment. The turpentine is then sold and shipped off to a chemical plant that refines it for use in hundreds of other products. The areas of the facility where significant quantities of turpentine are present are 5th, 6th, and 7th floor digester building, West Stairs digester building, pulp warehouse, turpentine pump house and storage tank. Turpentine is very flammable and therefore must be handled carefully. Non-sparking tools must always be used when working on the turpentine system. Hot work permits must always be issued before burning, cutting, or welding near the process. In some places, no hot work of any kind is permitted. Always check with the pulp and utilities process manager before beginning any questionable work. Precautions should be taken to prevent damage to piping or tanks while working around the system. Turpentine is toxic to humans. Always wear proper PPE when handling turpentine. Getting turpentine on your skin can cause serious irritation. 4 to 6 ounces of turpentine taken internally is lethal. In most cases, respirators and H2S monitors must be used when working around turpentine. Never spill turpentine in any sewer. This could shut down the mill or cause a serious environmental incident. Always obey posted signs. Always check in with control room before entering the digester area for any reason. Never perform any work on the turpentine system without first receiving PSM training. Always observe safe work practices. For any turpentine-related emergency, call 8911 immediately and report it. All incidents, no matter how minor, must be reported immediately. Woodyard restricted access. Prior to entering the woodyard, contact must be made with one of the following: Woodroom Coordinator, extension 8342, or by radio on channel 5, Woodyard Scaler, extension 8629, or Security, extension 8302. One of the above will notify all employees in the woodyard of your presence. Hard hats are mandatory when entering the woodyard. The woodroom and all mobile equipment require hearing protection. Excessive noise outdoors may also require the use of hearing protection. Wood, general, and coal dust accumulates in many areas of the woodyard. Eye protection, safety glasses with side shields, must be worn at all times. During cleaning activities, goggles or sealed safety glasses must be worn to protect employees. Comfort dust masks may also be used if desired. A steady flow of truck traffic is present in the woodyard throughout the day. All personnel must stay back 15 feet from any moving truck or log movers. Woodyard Scaler, Woodroom Coordinator, or Security will notify you of any hazards prior to entering. No vehicle traffic is allowed in the woodyard unless required for maintenance or production purposes. Caution must be taken around all rail tracks. All personnel must stay back 15 feet from any moving rail cars. Never park vehicles on rail tracks. Check in with the Woodroom Coordinator prior to entering or beginning work on tracks in case of specific hazards. There are multiple blind spots and hazards on the chip pile. Contact must be made with the CAT operator prior to accessing the chip piles. A majority of the work being performed in the woodyard is overhead with log loaders, conveyors, etc. Hard hats are mandatory prior to entering the woodyard. When in use, the truck dump is extremely dangerous. Be aware of operations in the woodyard. Adhere to the restricted boundaries around the truck dump. The woodyard contains large quantities of diesel fuel. Material is combustible and open flame should not be used around tanks and fueling areas. Standing or climbing on round wood piles is strictly prohibited. Contact must be made with the Woodroom Coordinator prior to walking by log piles. Notify the Woodroom Coordinator prior to entering the log conveyor area. Pedestrian traffic is prohibited from entering the bark yard. The safe walkway through the old woodroom should be used as an alternative. Welcome to the Xpera Thilmany Mill Contractor Manlift Training video. This training is an annual requirement for all contractors that will be using the manlift. Only trained personnel are permitted to use the facility's manlifts. Unsafe conditions or actions on manlifts are prohibited. Lockout is required during installation or other activities near or around the manlift when exposure exists which could harm personnel or equipment. No freight, packaged goods, pipe, lumber, or materials of any kind shall be carried or transported on any manlift. No tools except those that will fit entirely within a pocket in the usual working clothes shall be carried on any manlift. This means nothing can be carried on the manlift if it is held in your hand or under your arm. Tool pouches such as used by E&I personnel are permitted provided all tools fit properly in the pouch and the pouches are used as intended. This would also include radios and flashlights if secured by holsters closely to the body. It is not permissible to carry tools and supplies in a makeshift holder. It is not permissible to carry tools or supplies up the manlift by tying them to one's person. No loose-fitting clothing, coats, or body harnesses are allowed. These items can become caught on the equipment and pulled an employee off the manlift. When riding a man lift, the passenger shall stand squarely on the step, face the belt, and grip the handhold securely. Never leap up to a higher step. Wait for the platform to be level with the floor before stepping on. Never jump down to a lower step. Reach for the handhold when it is 1 foot from the floor level and then wait for the platform to reach floor level. To operate the hand control rope, simply pull it in the direction of the travel to stop the man lift. Pull in the opposite direction of travel to start the man lift again. Before starting or restarting man lift, it shall be necessary to alert passengers on the man lift and all others in the vicinity. The flashing red light indicates that you are approaching the top floor. It is possible that this light may not be working, so be alert as to what floor you are on. If you notice that the man lift is not working properly or is damaged, report it immediately to your job coordinator. After you complete the man lift training video, contact your job coordinator for hands-on training for man lifts.